In this video, I'm going to answer a question you've probably been asking. New writers always want to know, how long does it take to write a book? Now that's a reasonable question. We want to plan out the next season of our lives, even while we're writing a book. We want to get a bead on the future. But trouble comes when we look to the right and to the left instead of just straight ahead. One glance at how fast the writer next to you is running their race, and you will trip up and fall off the track. In other words, there is no right answer for how long it takes to write a book. Everyone writes at their own pace, and so it takes as long as it takes. But I'm not going to go all Yoda on you, leaving you hanging with only qualitative and immeasurable answers. More there is for you, young Jedi. If you are willing to do a little math with me, I'll show you the formula that I use to find a quantitative answer, because there is a way to calculate and estimate the number of days that it will take you to write your book. Now, before we begin, it's important to make a distinction between a book and a manuscript. You often hear people say, "I'm writing a book," but that's a bit of a misnomer. What they're actually writing is a manuscript. A manuscript only becomes a book after it's published. Another helpful detail to know is that in the publishing industry, a single manuscript is abbreviated lowercase ms, and multiple manuscripts are abbreviated lowercase mss. I already had a contract with my first literary agent before I learned that. He would email me about my MS, and I wondered if I should let him know that there was a typo in his email. I had no clue what he meant. Now, this brings us back to our original question. How long does it take to write a manuscript? It's a simple equation that is unique to you. Are you ready to find out in 6 easy steps? Step 1, name your word count goal. You need to have a word count goal in mind, not a page goal. If you're writing a fiction book, the lowest mark to shoot for is about 90,000 words. But I'm guessing most of the writers watching this channel are interested in writing nonfiction. Memoirs, Christian lifestyle, inspirational Bible study, curriculum, devotionals, and so on. In that case, your word count is much, much lower. On this channel, I refer to my own books often. And that's not because they're the best examples I could possibly use. It's because they're the examples about which I know the most. See, I don't know the word count of any other book on the market, but I sure know the word count of the books I've written. 12 Clean Pages, my memoir, is about 75,000 words. Everyday Genesis, a Christian lifestyle book that I wrote, is 70,000. Hunting Hope, another Christian lifestyle book, is about 50,000. And Keep Teaching and Keep Going, my daily devotional books, are 30,000 each, which is very interesting to me because they were the hardest to write. Let's pick a word count goal for you. If this is your first book, let's just go with 50,000 as a rule of thumb. So on a sheet of paper right now, write word count goal, 50,000 words. You can decide whatever number you want, but 50,000 is a safe bet. And right now that may feel like a tremendous amount of words, but you would be surprised how fast it stacks up. Step 2, choose your session length. Skip a line under your word count goal and write session length. Now, picture yourself sitting down for your typical writing session. When are you most likely to do it? Choose a block of time that is reasonable for you to have a writing session on a semi-regular basis. Now, don't visit the land of wishful thinking here. We are looking for realism, not fantasy. Would you consistently be able to set aside 30 minutes? 60 minutes? If it would be nearly impossible for you to have 2 hours of uninterrupted time, then don't aim for 2 hours. Mom of a preschooler, I'm looking at you. Let's be honest, this is not your dream session that I'm talking about. If your mind automatically went to a cabin in the woods or the sandy shade of a beachside bungalow when I ask you to picture yourself writing, then drop your imaginary plane ticket and come back to me. Like I said, you are unlikely to have 2 or 3 hours of uninterrupted time on a regular basis. But what about 25 minutes? Maybe not every day, but twice a week? Your session time is a small amount that you and your family can commit to. So write it next to the label session length. Some of my coaching clients are surprised when I release them from their expectation that all real writers have a strict writing regimen. When somebody tells me I don't have time to write, I assume what they really mean is a strict writing regimen simply doesn't fit my lifestyle. Cool, me either. Sure, some writers write in a regimented way, so I've heard, but many don't. For instance, I only write when I have a strong and compelling idea for a potential book, and even then, I don't write every day. So, if you are convinced that you don't have time to write a book, I suggest making a decision about what is sensible for you to write. There is no reason to make yourself write every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning, right before work, or every night before you allow yourself to put your head on the pillow, or every weekend before you can have fun. If there's a dream in your heart, then forcing yourself to do that will drain the joy out of it and leave it feeling like a drudgery. We don't want to do that with a dream. Step 3, find your session word count. So skip a line under your session length and write session word count. Before you go further with the formula, you'll need to know how many words you can write in one writing session. In order to find that number, you're going to have to give yourself a nice, comfortable writing assignment. Set your timer for your typical writing session length, and then just write about a family memory or a recent holiday with friends. I'm going to show you how to apply a formula to make calculations after you have your session word count. So here's how we're going to do that. Right before you begin the writing assignment that you've given yourself about a memory or a holiday or whatever, you want to set that timer for whatever you've decided is your session length. And then you can write it out by hand in a journal, but you won't easily get a word count that way. I would use a computer if I were you. Then do the writing assignment. And when the timer stops, stop wherever you are, even if you haven't finished writing your final sentence. Don't keep going. Like your high school English teacher used to say, pencils down. And what if the timer hasn't gone off, but you've already finished the assignment? Then don't stop. Keep writing something until the timer goes off. Even if all you're writing is, I'm still writing, I'm still writing, I'm still writing. Then you'll have your session word count. You need to be able to find your word count, and there are plenty of YouTube videos that will show you how to find it, depending on the software that you're using. Step 4, divide your word goal by your session word count. We'll finish this wonderful equation now. So skip a line under your session word count and write total sessions. Let's say a writer named Casey can write 600 words in one writing session. I'm going to write 600 beside session word count. The equation is getting somewhere now. If Casey's word count goal is 50,000 and her session word count is 600, then it's going to take her about 83 sessions to write her book. She will write 83 beside the label total sessions. The question is, how many days or weeks is that? Step 5, estimate your sessions per week. Skip a line underneath your total sessions and write sessions per week. Our friend Casey thinks that it's likely she could probably have 3 writing sessions a week. So she's going to write 3 beside the label sessions per week. Step 6, we're finally at the end. Divide your total sessions by your sessions per week. Skip a line under your sessions per week and write estimated completion date. Now you will divide your total sessions by your sessions per week. The answer will be the number of weeks it will take you to finish your manuscript. For Casey, that's going to be about 27 weeks to write her manuscript. And when Casey divides 27 by 4, then she discovers it's going to take her somewhere between 6 and 7 months to finish her book. Now, she might go faster and she might go slower, but at least she has an idea now. And after you complete your writing assignment and this equation, so will you. You'll have an estimate of how long it might take you to write your manuscript. But don't hold on to it too tightly. It's only a general roadmap. Sometimes you'll take a longer route. Sometimes you'll find a shortcut. No worries. You will arrive in God's perfect timing. Your real motivation to finish shouldn't be staying on track. It should be following Jesus. Then you'll never be behind schedule because you'll be behind Him. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. See you soon.